Polynesians were some of the greatest ocean navigators in history. Long before modern technology, they were able to sail vast distances across the Pacific Ocean using nothing but their knowledge of the stars to guide them along their way. With that said, these constellations also weren't just tools for their navigation. They were also deeply tied to their culture, mythology, and storytelling. Now, I'm someone who is extremely interested in the constellation aspect of astrology, so getting to learn more about how these stars and patterns in the sky have been used is always really cool to me, but on a more specific level, Polynesian culture has also always been fascinating to me too, ever since I was a little kid. I grew up watching the Disney movie Moana with my sister, which was a tale inspired by the Polynesians, and I've always loved going to Hawaii on vacations to fully embrace the culture there. Because of all that, this project kinda seemed like a no-brainer to me because it combines so many of my interests into one area of study, so let's begin by going over how Polynesians use the constellations to travel the vast Pacific Ocean. To understand Polynesian navigation, we first need to look at the way they use the stars. Polynesians developed a method called the star compass, a mental map that helped them determine direction based on the rising and setting of specific stars. Unlike a physical compass, this system relied on heavy memorization, training navigators to recognize star positions relative to their canoe's heading. Each star or constellation had a designated place in the night sky, and as Earth rotated, they would track the movement of these celestial markers to stay on course. For example, the constellation Orion, called Kahehe Onakiki in Hawaiian, was crucial for orientation. The bright star Sirius, known as AA in Hawaiian, was one of the most important navigation stars leading voyagers toward their destination. Sirius, being the brightest star in the night sky, would rise and set at specific points on the horizon depending on the season, helping these navigators determine latitude and distance traveled. The Pleiades, or Macaulay as they called it, was another vital constellation that basically marked the transition of seasons and also helped voyagers predict weather conditions before embarking on long journeys. But Polynesian navigation wasn't just about individual stars. It was about recognizing star lines, or paths that multiple stars created as they moved across the sky, and these paths helped wayfinders maintain their course over extremely long distances. For example, by tracking the movements of the Southern Cross relative to the horizon, Polynesians could literally pinpoint their position in the southern hemisphere. This level of astronomy knowledge allowed them to cross thousands of miles of open ocean with extraordinary precision that was practically unheard of. Just to add to their celestial observations, Polynesians also used the movement of the sun during the day to track direction, noting where it rose and set on the horizon. The moon's position and phases provided even more reference points to them, particularly during cloudy nights when the stars were obscured and not all that visible. Even ocean swells played a role. By feeling the way waves moved against their canoes, Polynesians could legitimately detect the presence of distant islands long before they came into sight. By combining all of these elements, the stars, sun, moon, ocean swells, Polynesians developed a complex yet highly effective system of navigation. Their deep knowledge of astronomy allowed them to traverse the Pacific without maps, compasses, or modern instruments, making them some of the most skilled navigators in human history. Now, while all of that is super interesting, the stars weren't just practical for them while navigating the waters though. They were also woven into Polynesian mythology, shaping their understanding of the cosmos and their place within it. Many constellations represented gods, legendary figures, or historical events, with each story serving as a lesson, a record, or a guide. These stories weren't just entertainment, they were crucial for passing down knowledge across generations, ensuring that the art of navigation and cultural traditions remained intact. A great example of this is the story of Maui, the demigod who, according to legend, pulled the Hawaiian Islands from the sea. Some versions of the story tie him to the constellation Scorpius, which Polynesians saw as the great fishhook he used to shape the world. This celestial connection made Maui not just a mythical hero in their eyes, but his presence in the night sky was also a constant reminder of creation, exploration, and just the sheer power of the sea to Polynesians. Another important celestial figure was the Pleiades star cluster, known as Matariki in Maori culture. This cluster played a major role in marking the beginning of the new year to them, with its first appearance in the early morning sky signaling the start of an important season of renewal, agriculture, and community gatherings. The movements of these stars dictated seasonal changes and cultural ceremonies, essentially binding these celestial patterns to their daily lives. Basically, to Polynesians, the stars weren't just distant points of light. They were ancestors, storytellers, preserving history and culture forever in the sky. Each constellation had meaning behind it to them, sort of acting as a celestial library, I would say, of myths, traditions, and navigational wisdom, ensuring that their wayfinding knowledge would never be lost over the years. Looking back on Polynesian culture now, even today, their wayfinding continues to inspire us. The revival of traditional navigation in the 20th century, led by groups like the Polynesian Voyaging Society, has essentially brought back this ancient knowledge, proving that these techniques are just as powerful now as they were centuries ago. Understanding how Polynesians use the stars connects us not only to their incredible achievements, but also to our universal human desire to explore. So next time you look up at the night sky, remember, they're not just stars, they're a guide, a story, a legacy that has endured for generations.